Hey everybody, Shawn Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com. Bringing another fly tying video this week. This week it's a dry fly, and this one's another customer request that I had, and it's a tan caddis. We have tan caddises, tons of them in my area, and this one utilizes foam, so it's a foam tan caddis. But right now the tan caddises are pretty heavy. They're coming off with March browns, sulfurs, crane flies. It's been pretty productive in my area, and caddises just catch fish because they come off almost year round around here. One thing I'm going to do, I haven't showed you in a while how I stack my hair for deer hair, so I'm going to show you real quick. A lot of my tan caddises, a lot of my caddises in general, my clueless caddises and stuff that I use for my dry dropper rigs, I like to use mule deer. It's kind of in between the elk and the whitetail. It's a little bit more sturdy than whitetail, I feel, and I like the color of it too. So I like mule deer, but that's just me, natural. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to just take and pull a little section of it up and stand them back like you see here. And then I'm going to trim that off. What I want for this fly that I'm doing right now is about like half a pencil's width. So I'm going to trim that section off, the amount that I want, the clump that I want. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to pinch all the tips. When I do that, I'll strip out all the fluff at the back. It's going to be the short hairs and the under fur on it. So I'll do that a couple times, and then I use a comb too, and I'll use the comb to rake out what's left, the stuff I can't get with my fingers. So what I'm left with is just nice butt sections sticking out of my fingers. No fluff, nothing else. I'll take that and I'm going to put it tip down into my hair stacker. And I'll wiggle that in there, get them all in my hair stacker, push them down as best as I can. And then I'm just going to take and beat it on my hand a couple times. Then just slide it out and you'll see them all lined up in a row, and pull it out and I'm ready to go on my fly. I haven't showed that in a while. I figured I'd redo that for you. The other thing I'm going to tell you, I got my craft foam for this. I just picked it up at Walmart. This is a nice tan color. Tans, browns, whatever. It's 2mm foam. You can buy it in multicolored packs. Run down to your craft store or Walmart and get it. But anyways, guys, simple fly, catches fish, floats real well. That's what we're looking for in a dry fly. Here's you're going to see a picture of the fly and then the material list to tie it. Okay, here you see the Foam Tan Caddis and the vise. Cool looking dry fly pattern. Let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using a Firehole 419. This is a size 14. I tie them in 14s and 16s mainly. For thread, we're using Semperfli Nanosilk. This is 12-aught black. And I'm just starting it in the middle there and wrapping it back towards the bend. Next thing up is dubbing, and I'm using some Davy Whitlocks. This is Hellgrammite from SLF. Any color brown, dark brown, black color will work here. And just going to make a nice tight dubbing noodle on here. And then I'm going to start it back here at the bend. Whoops. Got my dubbing a little long there. So I actually usually go just slightly around the bend, and I want to keep it thin. I don't want to get too big, and go about halfway up. Just maybe slightly past halfway, but not much, because we got a lot of wing material and stuff to put on here. So there you see, it's not too thick. It's a little bit buggy. That's fine. And next thing I'm going to put on is a piece of foam. This is 2mm foam. And it's this brownish tan color. I picked it up at Walmart. You can see how I cut it about the hook gap width there is the size we want. And actually I cut it like it fits in the hook gap there. So you want to cut rounded ends on the back. I'm going to sit it on top, but I'm actually going to tilt it towards me a little bit because as I wrap away, it's going to roll up on top. And I want it to go just past the bend of the hook. So sit it up there where I want it, Make a couple wraps. There we go. And like I said, as I wrap it tight, it rolls right up on top where I want. And then the front's going to roll around a little bit. That's fine. We're cutting it off. And then we're wrapping that down to the base of the hook there. Okay, now it looks like that's a lot out front, but that's fine. We're going to build up a lot of stuff in there. Now, I want to build a nice taper here. I don't want this foam to just hop right down onto the hook, like a big jump down on the hook. I want it to taper down. And we're going to try to keep that going as we build up materials on it. Next thing I'm going to put on is some EP fiber trigger point. This is March Brown. You don't have to. You could skip this. If you're going to skip anything, skip this material here. But I like it. It holds float nice, and so I like to use trigger point. So get that wrapped on there. Cut it off at the front. I want it to go the same length as that foam as you see there. Set the rest of it off aside for my next one. Keep that taper going. Okay, that taper is going to become real important when we go wrap our hackle on. Next thing we do, I already took and put my hair in the hair stacker here. I'm going to use some deer hair. And what I'm going to use is about like half a pencil width. And I'm going to stack it all up in my hair stacker, get all them tips straight and in line there. Pull it out. And I'm going to set them down right on top. And again, I want it to go right to the back of that foam. Now, for my thread, so I'm going to set it on top, right to the back of the foam, switch fingers, and with my thread, I'm going to make a couple looser wraps. Don't want to go real tight on this at first because that Semperfli Nanosilk will cut right through it. So there, you can see I went a little bit loose and then wrap down tighter. And then I'm going to wrap up towards that eye a little bit. Now, you're going to splay it all out like that, which is fine. That's natural, the way the deer hair acts. And so we're just going to come in. We're going to bunch all this up together. And I'm going to take my scissors. I want to lay it right down on that eye and cut it at an angle with that head. So I want to keep that taper going, like I said. One stray one there, we'll pluck them. Oops. And then we're just going to wrap all this down. Now, I don't want to make too many wraps, but I want to keep this going nice and smooth. Last thing we're going to put on is some hackle. This is dark barred ginger. You see there's a little bit of variation to it. Out here's the dark barred ginger part, or it looks like Cree. There's some brown at the bottom. That's fine. So I'm just going to tie the butt section, take the butt section, strip off the fibers there, so I have a tie down point. And I'm going to tie that down right there at the front of the deer hair. And make that nice smooth transition down to my eye. Then I'm going to make nice side-by-side wraps forward with it. If your feather's long enough, you don't need hackle pliers like this one. If it's shorter, put some hackle pliers on. And because I got a nice taper, it rolls right down there pretty nicely. Oops. There we go. Get it right down to the eye, and then we're going to tie it off. Try not to trap hairs. You're getting fibers on this feather. You're going to, but try not to trap too many. Trim it off, and then we're going to whip finish, and that's all that's to this fly. Between your hackle, your foam, and your deer hair on there, this thing's going to float real well. And you'll also be able to skitter this across the top of the water like a caddis does. So trim that off. I like to trim those ones I trapped on the end. And there you go. Nice caddis pattern that's going to float well and catch us some fish. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I enjoy bringing these videos to you. This one's one that's right in season for me around my place right now. And like I said, it catches fish. We have tons and tons of caddis in my area. I was fishing Penn's Creek last week. There was a great hatch of tan caddis. And another thing with caddises, any color of caddises, I like to skate them. Sometimes I'll cast them downstream and keep my rod tip up and just make them dance across the top of the water. When you see a caddis on top of the water, it's always fluttering, it's always moving. So dancing it across skating it across the top of the water, very productive method. A good, well floating one like this with the foam and the hackle and everything, you're going to have a lot of success with it. Mess around, guys. Change your colors. Have fun and change your sizes. Like I said earlier, I tie these 14s and 16s mainly more towards the 16s, but 14 for video quality for sure. 16s work great. So have fun tying, guys. You need any of the materials, you can find it at our shop at holsingersflyshop.com. And if you'd like me to tie any, you can reach out to me at holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. So thanks for watching as always. Till I bring you another video next week, I'm Shawn Holsinger.